The Witch's Haven is throwing its first giveaway this Valentine's Day. What better way to start a new year than to have a better idea where your love life is? So, the Witch's Haven will give a lucky member a full hour consultation, $150 value, absolutely free. The only thing you have to do is sign up for the free app and YouTube channel. Write your first name and a heart emoji. This will automatically enter you on the giveaway. It's a win-win situation. You get the full witchy online experience plus the chance to pick out your love life in a whole new angle. Join for free and participate on the forums and help us build this exclusive community dedicated to bring you thought-mediated spaces to help you level up in life. Blessed be. Welcome to the Witch's Haven. I am Anan Celeste, and this is my fabulous. She fixes what I break. Right?
That's not true. But I'll take it. The fabulous fixer.
The fabulous fixer. Hail to the yes. So right now, I am going to take this opportunity to share the live. That's one. Number two, I wanted to do this live today because tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and supposedly tomorrow we're going to choose the winner of the Witch's Haven app.
Yes.
So, and I downloaded this thing that you can put all the names of the people that actually participated. It's like a raffle type of thing.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So cool. And I had no idea that existed.
So that's neat. So you put all the names in and then it'll like do a shuffle or something?
It shuffles by itself.
Oh, sweet.
And that is the kind of thing that you can actually go like this and put it in front of the camera so people know.
See, you know, that it's totally random.
That it's totally random.
Yes.
We're not doing this, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my
favorites. That's so cool though. I am a little jealous though. I mean, the winner gets an hour-long reading. I want an hour-long reading. Yeah. I was like, when we were talking about this, I was like, oh, I want to be in there.
Hey, anything. That is something that that is something that we should always do for each other. This is how you know that you can hone your gifts and be confident that whether or not you bomb at the reading, actually you're doing it with your friend.
That's true, yeah. But a friend that's going to be honest with you. Not all your friends are going to give you honest feedback. They're going to be like, yay, it was great. You know, but which, not saying that it can't be great, but yeah, definitely if you have somebody who can say, well, maybe if you gave a little more detail or I don't know, not so much detail, but yeah, sometimes there's no detail, but you know, just that can say you didn't elaborate enough or you went too fast and I couldn't understand what you were saying. You know, that's good criticism right there.
Actually, if you're like me, I love criticism. The more ruthless and more raw it is, nice. Okay, I need to tackle that. That was not. It wasn't. You know, working that well.
I think I'm in between. I like the criticism because I want to know if I'm doing it wrong because I don't want to keep doing it that way and make a fool of myself. But I like gentle criticism because I criticize myself plenty, I suppose. So I want someone to be like, okay, well, it wasn't terrible, you know, just tweak this or that, you know, rather than, I've still got that little bit of cough. And I forgot my honey. I was telling myself before we came on, I was like, I need a spoon of honey just in case.
And a spoonful of sugar makes this whole headache go down.
Yes.
Oh God! You see, that was one of the first witches that I saw in Disney movies. Because anybody that tells me that Mary Poppins was not a witch has some serious denial issues. Because that's
right? That was so hella magic. Everything she did was about magic. Yeah.
Either that, or she had access to a really good drug that would put anybody in a huge trip. Come on, penguins.
Right. And it's like, and if that was the case, and it was the drugs, she gave that to the children. So I kind of would go with the magic on that one. You know, right?
That is true. That is absolutely true. Like, damn. So we wanted to do this love spells and love rituals here for the witches having, because many people, they talk about the honey jars, they talk about the knot spells, they talk about the sachets and the sigils, but when it comes to the nitty gritty, there is a lot of things that maybe we don't want to acknowledge. First, do you think it's okay to do a love spell on someone else?
I don't. I mean, everybody can have their own opinion, their own way of doing magic. I mean, that's one of the things I love about it. It is very personal, and everyone does different things. So I'm not going to say this is a yes or no hard question, but for me personally, I couldn't do that, because it feels like influencing somebody's feeling, you know, not supernaturally, but you know what I mean? Like, if someone falls in love with me, I want them to fall in love with me, not because I felt like I, you know, moved that along secretly.
Because it's weird, because the more you think about it, the more, what if I was in their shoes? Would like to be like a zombie for someone else?
Right. And because then could you ever tell them that you did a love spell? Wouldn't it then feel like manipulation?
Touche.
You know, that's the way I think about it. So to each their own, absolutely. But for me, I couldn't do it. I don't think, yeah. Not that I think about it, but
actually, yes, because when I'm going to tell you, remember when we were talking, and she's going to tell you that story about the straw, because it's freaking genius. I have never heard of that one before. But the first time that I did what I now consider a love spell was when I was still little, and I remember that it was, oh my God, the boy that I like, and I don't know why. I say that I don't know why now, because I am not sure where I saw that or how I came to the conclusion that that was something that would work.
Right.
So I went to the kitchen. I got myself some walnuts. I cracked very carefully so they won't break. So it would separate into two halves. I cleaned it up, and I put honey with a couple of flower petals and the name of the boy soaked in that. Then I closed the little thing. I remember that I tried to to glue it with Yoo-Hoo glue, you know. I don't know if it still exists. The yellow one that is really sticky glue. Ethics 6000 is way better, but that was the I don't know, the 90s version of it.
It was like in a little pot with a like a little paintbrush kind of thing that was in the lid. What it was? And it was like really sticky, yellowy looking stuff. I don't know. That's what it reminds me of.
But since it took so long to dry, your girl here went to my backpack, and I got my red crayons and a lighter. I was a tiny pyro back then. And so I sealed it with the red crayon. And then I put it underneath my bed. You know, this is the bed, and this is where my pillow is. So in the floor beneath
your pillow.
Yeah, what I wasn't counting on is that my grandmother raised she raised me since I was really little. I forgot that Thursdays were cleaning day. She would actually polish the floors, and she found it. And I remember that she went, "Can you explain this?"
I can only imagine. My grandmother.
There was no judgment. She was just, really? Is this what we're doing now?
Just curious as well, do you want to tell me how you got this? Yeah.
What she asked me was, is it going to be worth it, or you're going to give me a headache? And I go,
you're like, well, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yes.
Needless to say, and this is the thing that I don't know if it worked or if it didn't, because I only put his initials.
Okay.
Yeah, I only put his initials there. And I did met my ex-husband 2 years later, and there were the exact same initials.
Wow.
So I don't know whether or not to be grateful that it didn't work, or mad that it did.
Right, because it wasn't the boy you had in mind, but it was the same initials you put in there.
Yeah. And when I found, I was already married, and my sister was the one that said, "Do you think that had to do?" And she go, "Nah." Nah, that's not it. So what? Okay. I remember also that I started to think when my ex-husband, he started to be really possessive and really paranoid about certain things. And he will always accuse me of putting hexes on him, love spells to manipulate him.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, do you think I'm going to waste my time on something like that?
Time, energy, ingredients.
But sometimes we have to be really careful what we wish for, because we might get it.
This is true.
We really might get it. Hi, Angela. Hi, Angela. We were talking about love spells and love rituals. I think we all have done something. Do you remember the movie, The Practical Magic?
Yes.
The little girl with the flower petals?
Yeah.
I think that every little witch out there has done something very similar. Very similar. And it's funny because sometimes I wonder, is it something that I was channeling that I was going to get, or it was wishful thinking that I wanted to get that? So
yeah, and that's why it's possible, looking back, that it could have influenced you finding and marrying your husband, even though it wasn't intended for him. It still could have been like you said, like a future thing. It was still out there in the air. It just didn't manifest in the time that you expected it to, or in the way you expected it to.
But everything happens for a reason. And I don't know, that made me feel like very hesitant, because I was believing, I started to come on, people, I was 19 years old, so of course I was going to believe that I had some part to play in that scenario, that it was to a degree my fault. And with all the crazy people that are out there that get obsessed over everything, over anything, and our judgment that is not that clear, sometimes we see a prince in shiny armor when in reality it's Oscar the Grouch in the trash can just walking around. I'm sorry, you know that it's true.
It is true. It is true. Absolutely. Anybody that's ever had an ex anything can say that at one time they looked at him like Prince Charming. You know?
Beer goggles. Sober, it hurts more because you cannot blame the alcohol, people.
It's true.
We cannot blame the alcohol because it is what it is.
And even if you blame the alcohol, that was a one-time thing, right? If you stayed after that one time, no alcohol there.
Yeah, that was, wow. But it is what it is. We were talking about the honey jars and we were talking about the nut spells. And then you told me about something that you did with a straw. And I think people should know.
And I thought I had one on hand, but I don't. All I have are just paperless straws at the moment. But okay, so this was something I thought about just the other day. I guess Valentine's Day is in the air. I was thinking about things. And I remembered something that I've done since I was like 14, 15, back to like my first boyfriend. And you know how you get straws every time you go out to eat, and they, with the paper on.
The paper on.
Yeah, the straw with the paper. And so you open it, or you maybe tear the top off, you pull the straw out, and you have a strip of paper, like a plain strip of paper. Well, and I don't know why I ever started this. I can't remember what my thought process was. Probably just sitting there talking to the boy that I, liked. And always a boy, right? That took the paper, that strip of paper, and tied a knot in it just once, looped over and pulled it. And as I was looping the paper, I was thinking, oh, I want him to be my boyfriend. Or, later on, because I had done this from the time, like I said, I was about 14 or 15. Later on, then, after I'd met my now husband, I met him when I was 16. Then it was like, well, I want to stay together forever, or I want to marry him. And so every time I would tie that, just one tie around that paper and pull it. And I would make my wish as I was tying it. And then when I pulled it, if it came loose, like sometimes the knot would come loose, then I was like, that's a positive thing. That means, yes, I'm going to get what I want, or that's, or steps are, working toward it. Not that I ever thought that was instant, magic right there, but just that if I pulled it and it come loose, then that was my positive sign. And then if it didn't, if the knot stayed and the paper just ripped, then that was like, not now kind of thing. I never wanted to think of it as a no. So to me, it was not now. That's what that meant. But yeah, and it becomes such a habit that I don't wish, because I've been married to him for 21 years now. So when we're out to dinner or something, I don't tie it and say, I wish we were married or, whatever anymore. But I still just tie it. It's become part of my ritual. I don't know. When I'm out.
Why it's a ritual.
Yeah. When I'm out with my man, that is my ritual. I have to tie that straw paper.
That's cute. But at the same time, see, that is cute. That is cute. Mm-hmm. To put your mind and your whole, mind and body and soul into that vision of the future, because that's exactly what you're trying to bring, something good, something positive.
Yes.
But there is a dark side to love spells and love rituals. Sure. There is something that I learned not to do. And this is something that, because of this, I don't do it for clients. Someone a long time ago, contacted me and said, I need you to do a love spell. This person knew me very well and knew that I didn't do love spells for that reason. Okay. It was a guy. Mm-hmm. Since I really, really, really appreciate this selfish ass, mm-hmm. I wanted to help him. So I gave him a reading and said, but why do you want to do a love spell on this person if you are cheating on her? Don't you think that is something that you should change? Maybe she's leaving you for a reason. I'm sorry, but that just doesn't make sense, right? Like, why do you want that girl if she's not enough for you? Mm-hmm. It gets better.
Yeah.
Because we're greedy, and we want everything. We want our cake and eat. And said, you know what? If you don't change, this is going to be pointless. And he started to cry, and he started to, I don't know, no, but I am going to change. I am changing. And I don't know why I said, okay, let's do the 7 knot spell. It's a candle, a red candle, a black candle, and a white candle. and you have 7 ribbons, all of different colors.
Mhm.
And you're going to actually do some knot magic. And this is something that I learned from my peeps in the Appalachian witches. And these witches don't play. They don't play. And I told them, you're tying yourself to this person energetically.
Mhm.
And it's my opinion that you don't deserve this person.
Right.
So I have to be really careful what I say. I say, okay, so until you stop doing this, yeah, and I'm telling you, if you really want to marry this girl, have a life with this person, have babies someday, that is not going to happen until you change.
Right. Fair. Mm-hmm.
So they actually stayed. 2 days later, they got back together.
Mm-hmm.
And for 7.5 years, they could not make a date for the wedding. They could not. It was always eluding them.
Something, always came up.
Came up. And the minute that he stopped being an ass,
Mm-hmm.
they got married and she got pregnant.
Yeah.
And
that's perfect karmic sense to me.
and he called me and said, "Do you remember what we did? Because I love it. It's always we did what we did, because I have to pay for it too."
Yes.
You were right. Until I stopped fooling around, that's when everything came together. Yeah. So that brings me to the next one. Before you do a love spell, before doing a love spell, and I had to write this one down because I didn't want to forget this.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I get in with a client, and whoever wins the Witches Haven raffle tomorrow, that is one of the things that we're going to discuss, because it's all about the love life, all about your self-expressing love, yada yada yada. And I always ask these 5 questions to everybody that tells me I want to fix my love life, or I need to attract love to my life. When they ask me, can you do a love spell for me? I said, after you answer these 5 questions, then you will decide if you want to do this or not. What do I feel for this person? 90% of people said, I have to have this person in my life. They have to be it is lust, or let's see if I can get this person. That's it. That's it. There is nothing else, nothing more deep. It's all about hot panties and even hotter pants. That's it.
The thrill of the chase is a big thing, especially for men. Women too, but especially for men. They want to know if they can. Can I get her? Can I make her want me?
Exactly. And we like the chase.
Yeah. we sure that you want them to put the effort in. You want them to show you that they really want you. Not to say that, chase is bad, but if that's your end result, is just to get her, not to get to know her.
And this is going to sound really screwed up, but this is something that men have told me. Mm-hmm. We really want to know how far we have to push before you buckle. And when I went like this, excuse you? Excuse you? And no, you don't understand, because if you buckle for me, you buckle for everyone. This is why I don't deal with certain people. Because anything that I would say about that would be disrespectful and maybe land me in jail over the case. So that's
question 1. If you don't know why you want them, stop.
Yeah, you have to be really specific. Right. You have to be, okay, I just want to sleep with this person. Mm-hmm. I just want to get to know them better. I think I feel, and I'm going to a little, reenactment. I feel that they're my soulmate. that we have lived 1,000 lives and we are reuniting at last. The whole Lord of the Rings type of thing.
Sure.
And
I've heard that too. Not personally, but yeah.
so after that, ask yourself, what do I want from this person?
Mhm.
Is it sex, love, companionship, friendship? Not everything has to do about sex, people. Sometimes we just want a companion. We want a friend, the friend from the opposite sex that may or may no. Those are friends with benefits when you have the side dish of sex.
Yeah. That's what they call it. Friends with benefits. But that's a great question. Yes, not just why do you want them, but what do you want them to give you?
Exactly, because not everybody has the same love language.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
My love language is to take care of people, to cook for them, to do their. Don't get me wrong. I do it because that's how I show affection. Other people that only show by hugging, kissing, or buying gifts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How they receive love is another matter. Every now and then I need to know that I'm appreciated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's 90% of men and women. I need to feel appreciated. I need to feel that I'm making a difference in that person's life, that I have a purpose. So, but what if the other person, their language of love is receiving gifts? Or the person needs to go out every Friday and Saturday, that they need expensive trips, or a diamond ring worth 4 months of
salary. Yes.
So everybody has a different love language, how to receive and how to give love. So we have to be very sure what it's yours, and if that person can satisfy that need.
Sure.
Because it's not fair that, oh, I like you, baby, I want to be with you, and you need to change because I have issues.
Yeah.
Because I have issues.
No, that's true. Absolutely. That's a very important thing, because it's like you want them because of the way they look, but you're not paying attention to what they are going to be able to give you. And just because you think you love them doesn't mean they're going to be able to love you the way that you need it. Because
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we have a person next to us that needs their time out, that they need to go into their man cave or into the woman's shed, and sometimes we don't like that because we feel ignored.
Yeah,
we feel like they're not paying attention to us. So, and then the mind keeps going and going. So it's not, I'm paying attention to me, they're paying attention to some other crazy. So yes. This is going.
This is true. That's why it's important to know these things.
This poor other person is watching anime or playing video games in the living room, completely clueless that you're writing the next Twilight in your mind.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Because it is what it is. And I have seen this.
Mm-hmm.
And it is completely legitimate because we bring our baggage to every relationship.
Right. Yeah.
So then it goes to what am I willing to change or sacrifice for the other person?
Mm-hmm.
If you have an anger issue, if you have a drug issue, if you have 7 baby mamas, if you have, there are so many things.
Yes, it's true. And that goes into, do you really want this person as a relationship, or do you just want this person because if you can answer these questions, then it makes you think about why you really want this. Yeah. And if you're not, and it's all about compromise. Relationships are compromise. If you can't compromise on both sides, then you're not going to last. It's just not going to last. And so you have to know coming into it that there are going to be things you're going to change, that you're going to give up or you're going to tweak, to make things better for her, to make things better for the relationship, so that you're both giving and taking.
Let me give you a very stupid example. I was a smoker. Maybe not a huge chain smoker, but I was a smoker for almost 20 years. When I got with Alex, he's an asthmatic.
Okay.
It took me one moment that he said, I can't. It's making me ill.
Okay.
For 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
This is how you love a person. You have to leave that shitty part of yourself behind so you can be a better person for this person. I was telling a young woman a couple of months ago, and I repeated the same thing to that same person yesterday after she has changed so much. Bless her. What is the kind of person that you think your crush deserves? Do you think that he or she deserves a basket case, a person with addictions, a person with baggage? Do you think that? And if you really, really think that you can love this person the way that you say, don't you think you have to, put the package in a prettier wrapper to deal with our own crap before bringing somebody else into the picture?
Right. Yes. That's true.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. Like you said, with smoking, giving that up after all that time wouldn't have been easy. If you're an alcoholic or a drug user, or you spend all of your money on frivolous things, once you are going to come into a relationship, those kind of things are going to become issues for another person. And if you're not willing to make yourself better for yourself, because all these things are going to make yourself better, it's not you changing who you are for another person. It's about becoming a better self so that, the person wants you as much as you want them too.
And to bring something positive to the table, because if you love that person so much, don't you think that they deserve the best part of you? Not for them to accommodate your crazy. And yes, I am going to say it like that, because the people that said, that I'm not going to change for no one, that person has to adapt to me. I'm sorry, those are grounds for saying bye, Felicia.
Yes. That's what I was saying. It's compromise. You don't give up everything. She doesn't give up everything. You have to do a little bit of both so that you can meet in the middle. If you can't do that, if she's only doing all of her part and you're not doing your part, then that relationship is not strong, because it's all one-sided.
Exactly. And the person will resent you for it.
Yeah, it may take time, because sometimes people take a while to notice that kind of stuff. People are willing to put up with a lot of stuff because they think they don't deserve better. So these relationships can go on and on and on for years and years, but eventually that person is going to say enough is enough.
And it's a shame, because it shows how much you love that person. When that person has to choose between their sanity and their progress, and you refusing to actually make the changes necessary to even contribute something to the relationship, who do you think sooner or later is going to win? Because it's true. I was trapped in a relationship that I was the only one that needed to make the changes. Not changes to actually better their relationship, but to make me an enabler, right. To make me a rug. And still the person was not satisfied. So there is no point to actually compromise your values, compromise your self-esteem, or compromise your love language for a person that it's not ready yet to be in a relationship.
Yeah. For someone that can't reciprocate any of that.
And that goes to the other question. What of value am I bringing to this relationship? The pretty face and the awesome body and the sports car, those are liabilities, because you lose your pretty face. No. Their amazing body, and the car, sooner or later, is going to be junk.
Right. Yeah. Even if you don't wreck it, 10 years from now, it's going to have 100,000 miles. It's going to start clinking and you're going to have to constantly be fixing it. But yeah, the point is those
like a bad marriage.
those kind of outward things, like a bad marriage. This is true. Eventually, it's all going to start clinking. But yeah, if all that you think you have to offer is on the outside, then you're not really offering anything.
Yep, that's true. And the last one. The last question that you have to ask yourself before you do any love ritual, love spell, or anything of the kind is if this person is not compatible or is for me, can I let it go? We cannot confuse infatuation with love here, people.
It's true.
Because I like the guy, I don't even know his name, the guy that looks like Aquaman, that does not mean that I'm going to make this story in my head. And you know what I mean. Sometimes we just want to get something from someone, their companionship, even their pity. And yes, I have seen this. And then we're not willing to let them go when we become toxic for them.
Right.
And that's devastating, because the moment that you realize that it's your actions or your decision making or what have you, this is where jealousy and being possessive comes about.
Right.
Because you know that there's something lacking there, that there is something that this person, it's willing to even look outside for it, because you either are not compromising or you're not willing to admit to yourself that was not going to work in the first place. And then we get bitter because they ghost us, or they say enough is enough, and then we live in that bitterness.
It's true. Yeah.
And it's not worth it.
No.
It's not freaking worth it. It's just no. Now, another thing that after doing a love spell, once you do it, is because that you already decided it, damn the consequences. You're sure about this,
right?
So you can actually live with what happens next.
Hopefully that's how you go about it. Hopefully that you are sure about this and you are going to be honest and live with the consequences. But we've done it, and so now this is the after.
Because two things can happen. Maybe nothing happens at all, and maybe you just saved yourself from something bad, or you cheated yourself out of something good. What if it works? What if it works? Remember the story about the knots and the couple, and to this day, they're not happy. These two people have created this space of distrust and anxiety and hurt. That is something that a candle is not going to change.
No.
Severe therapy may, but that is not going to change by lighting a candle. And I told this person from the beginning, this is very likely to backfire, because you're forcing someone that you are deceiving into a situation that they have no idea what they're going to find out. And apparently a tiger cannot change its stripes, right? At least until they decide to.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because they get married doesn't mean they're going to change. Just because they get the girl they think they want doesn't automatically mean they're going to stop cheating or whatever it was that they were doing before the relationship. They have to literally want that inside of them. They have to want to be different.
Exactly. And that goes into deeper issues. This is why couple therapy is so important. This is why individual therapy is so important, because sometimes we want to fix something by putting a band-aid that requires surgery or, yes, amputation. So I have to confess something.
What?
The last time that I did it would be considered a love spell.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it would be. It didn't require any materials, no ingredients whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on myself for about a year and a half, being alone after I separated and divorced from my ex, because I knew that there were things about me that I didn't like.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And once I did all that soul searching, that was a long, dark night of the soul for me, because I had to be honest. I had to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of man I'm attracting? I'm attracting abusers. I'm attracting people. Why? Because I was allowing certain patterns to happen. Right. So I remember one day I was so high on my own achievement as a person, meaning that I escaped that situation. I didn't die.
Right.
I didn't crumble. Mm-hmm. So I was finding out who I was, mm-hmm. and I got in front of the stove, and I said, "You know what? I am ready to receive that person. I love myself enough when to say no. I know myself enough to ask for what I want, right. In the moment that I want it. I know that I can be respectful and bring somebody that can grow with me." Mm-hmm. And less than a week later, this person appeared in my front step. Okay, a person that I haven't seen in 10 years.
Wow.
So,
yep.
Sometimes it's scary when things like that happen, because when you're so sure and you said, "I am ready," and you open that possibility,
right?
You're actually paying attention and being careful of what you attract.
It's true. This is true. You said you had to understand what you want, who you were, who you didn't want to be, exactly. What you weren't going to allow anymore, before you could find the one that was going to help you with that was going to be that, other part of you. Yeah.
So after doing that spell, well, it was an enunciation. I just said to the gods in front of the stove, I said, "I am ready to declare that it makes you responsible for everything that you do."
Yes.
Because it gives you a sense of responsibility. What type of person do I want to attract? Is the person that I want to attract would hang out with someone like me? Example, there is a very specific, according to the personality, according to where you came from, you have certain likes and dislikes. You would hang out with specific people. You would not hang out with other specific people. So you have to know what you don't want in order to know what you do want.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. We all know what we don't want. Yes. I don't want a cheater. I don't want a low life. I don't want a crazy one. We know what we don't want. Right. But most of the time we don't know what we truly want.
This is true. Yeah.
And it hurts. It hurts when you realize it. Because at least in my case, why didn't I have this epitome 20 years ago?
Mm-hmm. That's true. When you get it, you're like, why did I waste all this time? Why wasn't I paying more attention to how I, want to be loved and what I can give, like we were talking about before. It's why people will often say you got to love yourself first before you can love someone else. When you just feel like you need someone to have someone because you should be in a relationship or because you need to get married, and that kind of stuff. You're not thinking about what's best for you, you're not attracting what you really need, what's going to be lasting, that kind of stuff. You have to know yourself. Or if, in my case, married young, I was 18, definitely didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was, didn't know what I wanted. I got really lucky. I got really lucky. He is a great person, and he's allowed me in the span of 21 years to find myself, to grow. And we've learned how to compromise, with each other. And we have our ups and downs. That's a long time. We have times where, we didn't always think it was going to work out. But that's when you have to be honest. I had to learn each other's love language. I have to, understand that, when he doesn't ask me this or that it's not him being, forgetful, or disrespectful. He just doesn't think about those things, and you have to find your voice. I have to tell him what I want. He can't read my mind. Even after 20 years, he doesn't know that I wanted him to wash those dishes unless I said, can you wash the dishes? And
definitely have to do a video about the Venus versus Mars thing in the witchy community.
Right.
Because it's bull crap. Oh, you should know what I'm thinking. No, that's not the way that it works.
It doesn't. And of course, at 18, especially at 18, that's what you think. Oh, I married him. He's my soulmate. He's the one we're supposed to be with. He's going to know everything about me. It's just, we finish each other's sentences, blah, 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 blah. No, no, that's not real life. That's not real love. In my mind, that's infatuation. That's the beginning of it. That's not, you have to know who you are in order to be able to grow together. You both have to, not just the female, not just the male. You both have to know separately what you like, what's important to you, and how to compromise together.
And that goes for sex too.
Okay.
Because we're talking about love rituals. Men and women have they have a threshold of differences between the relationship. What is to be in a committed relationship? What is to be polyamorous? And those of you that actually have that lifestyle, people that have different types of intimate relationship without being that intimate. But if we don't ask, and I know it can be really embarrassing, it can be, I don't know, just, we're so full of shit, We're so full of shit because here in the United States, we're so Puritans, and when I know for a fact that the more freakier the people is, that the more morally whatever they are. Yeah. But
often that is the case when the outward appearance is very prim and proper. Behind closed doors, it's a different story.
You cannot enjoy it because, girl, life is short. So be responsible for your own thing, among other stuff. But you know what?
It's true. Life is short. Tell them what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't just go on with the normal missionary stuff if that's not what you want. If you want to be tied up or any of that stuff, you got to talk about that. You do.
You will be surprised. You will be surprised of the pillow talks. It can lead to many, many, many new things. Right. And the sooner that you do this, the sooner you're going to find out if you guys are compatible or not, or if you're willing to compromise, or if you're willing to, I don't know, because I was so glad. I remember that the first taste that I had for erotica was a friend that I had a long time ago. She's an erotica writer, and I said, people read this, and she wrote to me back and said, honey, don't you know that we're the biggest producers of porn in the world? And I said, that has anything to do with it? But it is true. People have their own taste, they have their own quirks, they have their own style, so might as well enjoy it. because one of the biggest complaints that people have when it comes, for example, to relationships and how they fall apart and how they are trying to bring the magic back. And here she is again. Bring the magic back is almost always in the bedroom. And what is sex and foreplay? A form of ritualistic love spell.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's not all, we cannot put all the responsibility on one person. Either you're male or female, or it doesn't matter if you are what type of relationship that you can always take the reins when it comes to try to incite or create the ambience for a great ritual love spell. This is where the rose petals and the candles and a little bit of perfume or incense. We are chemically designed for certain smells and certain texture for us to be aroused. So let's use that.
That's very mundane witchcraft, right?
Yes.
Everybody does that. The setting the mood, that's the point of that. That's your intention.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Your intentions are going out there because you are wanting to have great sex, or you're wanting to turn the person on, or that's mundane witchcraft that everybody, I would say everybody does that, right? Everybody that has a partner.
I hope so. I hope so.
Once in a while, right? I mean, we all have spontaneous stuff. And we all have boring, sex once in a while too. But when you have that intention and you want to take the time, you take them out to dinner, you get some wine, you get candles, all that stuff. You are setting the mood with your intentions.
And it's so fun.
Yes.
It's really so fun because and it doesn't matter what your age is. Actually, the older you are, the more at peace and at ease you are with your body. The more you know your body, so it gets even better. So,
yeah.
It gets even better.
Yeah.
But that is part of it. You can introduce that same love spell magic into for example, you're going to cook a meal. You're going to make them a meal, him or her.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that Alex always does. He always surprised me with a home cooked meal. Oh, and it's the way that you do it, that you put that love and that attention to detail. Yeah. It shows, and people appreciate that.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And it's the action plus the verbalization that I am doing this for you.
Yes.
You are the star tonight. And it doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl, it's going to take notice.
Right.
So, and if it leads to the other thing, those are brownie points and yeah, crazy. But,
and it doesn't have to be elaborate. You can make macaroni and cheese. It's about what the intention, like you said, that you're putting into it as you're stirring and mixing and adding a little salt or pepper or whatever you want to, you're doing that with the purpose of creating something that the other person's going to like.
And another thing, for all of those kitchen witches and green witches out there, the power of herbs and spices. Sometimes it can be a little hot. Sometimes you can actually, check out the wine. It doesn't have to be a very expensive wine. It can be a box wine for all I care. But it's the thought that you go into it. Mm-hmm. And it creates the mood. It creates what I call the stage for that ritual. And from beginning to end, from the moment that you start the dinner or or the date or going out for a walk, go moonwalking.
Right.
That sounds like Michael Jackson-ish.
Moonwalking. Yes. Absolutely. That doesn't cost anything, right? It's not about what you spend or what you have or what you put together. It's just spending time, intention.
Spending time. Mm-hmm. And you can go for a nature walk. I live in the city pretty much. And you have no idea how amazing it is to just go around the corner and the just going for a walk with your dogs or what have you, just looking at the moon, having a talk. It's amazing because that's how bonding works. But we have to, actually.
Especially in this day and age. I know a big thing for me and my husband is just to turn the TV off and put our phones down, and just sit on the couch and talk about our day. Just sit close to each other and, do that kind of thing. That to me is so much better than him taking me out to a restaurant full of people. It's just, it's that little bit of, attention that we're focusing on each other when we spend all day with the kids or at work or on our phones. We're pretty bad for that. So that's but that's
woodland sex. Derry says woodland sex. That's why they go skyclad, dear. That's why we go skyclad. We never know what's gonna happen.
Oh, yes. All you need is a little bit of cover, and don't take a lot of lamps with you. You don't want that spotlight going.
No, yeah, no.
No, just the moonlight, maybe.
But it's true. I remember, for those of you that have gone to the beach or to a body of water at night, know the power that it holds when that moon is over it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my favorite thing to do. Sometimes we don't have to do much for our partners or ourselves to get out of that rat race and that crazy, the family life and work and all of that, just to unwind. If you have the chance to do the walking or go to the beach at night or, create that magic. It's already there, just create it. If your guys are more tech savvy, what the hell, then Netflix that thing. Because that's what people do nowadays.
It's true. And that's okay. Netflix even has that fireplace setting,
I've used it.
Right? Yeah, we have to just turn that on. Yeah.
Go to Netflix or to YouTube and get yourself that fireplace video. And do a picnic on the rug.
Right? Yes. I'll tell you one thing we used to do. We haven't in the past couple of years because we had a little one again, but one of the things that we always used to do at Christmas time, because the Christmas lights are so nice, is turn everything off and, lay down like under the tree. It's nice. It's really magical, that just the lights of the tree. That used to be something that we did.
Since it's been almost an hour.
Yes.
I just want to run really quick of the little many things that people use in mainly folk magic and witchcraft, and I have seen many neo-pagans that have used the same thing. For example, the witchy bottles. This was a gift from one of my students because she wanted me to make her a love witchy bottle.
Yes.
Yeah, and when I gave her the reading and said, I'm gonna give you a week for you to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Observe him. And then tell me if that's what you really want.
Mm-hmm.
She never asked for it again. The guy was a douche.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I usually I filled it with, and this is very simple, either dry white petals. That is for a more pure, more starting as a friendship, something that you are aware that needs to be worked on. Then we have the horny ones. That's what we have. Red petals.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 kinds of petals, rose petals. I'm not very fond of the smell of certain type of roses, but for the imagery, it actually works.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Rose tea. There are certain teas and certain oils that actually makes you a little ticklish, and you don't know why. It mainly is because you are so relaxed and you're so focused on what your body is telling you that it actually helps you be you.
Right.
Remember, nothing can force you to change or no magic or what they call glamour that is pretending to be something that you're not. It's not going to work as well as you being yourself in a relaxed setting. So, and my good friend, Rosewater. You know that in medieval times they used to use bottles like this for scrying.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. It's like a globe. Mm-hmm.
It is like it smells amazing. Remember, smell is everything. The first memory, the memories that are hardwired into our brain are attached to smell. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the reasons that we have to be very careful of the scents that we're using. Mm-hmm. People are more triggered by vanilla scents or flowery scents. Other people are going to be more triggered with more sweet scents. Mm-hmm. This is why we have these different notes when it comes to perfume and colognes. And you can create that. You can recreate that. Some people are going to be happy triggered by the smell of baking.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I use that trick, always use that trick during Christmas. That's why I bake too much and I gain 5 pounds in that week. Because it changes the mood in the house.
It's true. Like I don't even use candles that smell like cookies or cakes or stuff because it makes me want to eat. You smell those baked goods, those candles. Because I have a friend who loves baked goods for her scents in her house, and every time I go over there, then I want pastries. It's just the smell; it makes your mouth water.
Hi, Rachel. So we are not. We've been talking. I've been talking and.
We'd be like 30 minutes, no big deal. I can't do that. Every time I start talking with you, we just talk.
That is the fun part.
Yes.
That's the fun part, I guess. So, guys, welcome to the Witch's Haven, and this was a presentation about love spells and love rituals. If you have one specific love spell or love ritual that you have learned or you have seen that it works, don't be shy. Put it in the comments below. You have no idea whose poor soul you might be helping.
Absolutely.
Remember that tomorrow concludes the giveaway for the free consultation, love consultation of the Witch's Haven. Is going to be announced live tomorrow night. I already got the app. Put all the names.
So you have one more day. So if you haven't already put your name in the raffle, then do that now. Yeah, go do that now. Just like the app. The app is free app. You guys can, just download it to your phone, and you've got access to all the videos, all the blogs, all the, you can ask questions, and we talk everything witchy on there. And then you have the YouTube channel, subscribe to that. That is free, just one click. And then you're entered, and you win an hour-long consultation. Yes.
An hour-long consultation where you're going to have a very in-deep reading about love, money, relationships, and how to make that leap to change your thinking, change your life, change the way that you do your craft. And what better place than to do it at the Witch's Haven? Like Angie said, the link is on the description. The link is on the description. We have a YouTube channel. We also have a website and our own witchy app. I can't wait to actually start doing the Ask a Witch.
I know.
Actually, Ask a Crone.
Ask a Crone, yes.
Yes. For all of the guys. Yeah. And we have no quarrel telling you like it is.
Yes.
If you're spraying up, we're going to tell you.
Anything. We are always popping into the app. Comment, ask questions. We will answer you. We'll be there.
Share your pictures, share your altars, share your experiences. We have witches from all over the United States and all over the world with different types of practices.
Yes.
And and this is something also. We are doing this archive of video interviews with very special witches, like I said, from different backgrounds, and witches that do different types of magic, either money magic, relationship magic, entrepreneurial magic. And it's time that something like this was taken seriously.
Right.
So go to the app, and automatically you will be entered into the content
For tomorrow night. Yes.
tomorrow night. So the sooner that you do it,
Yes.
the sooner it's gonna go. You just have to go to the, like Angie said, to the YouTube channel, click that subscribe button, completely free.
Yep.
And go to the app, and it will automatically enter your name. So if you had one thing to say to people that are trying to get into witchcraft and they haven't done, they're afraid to actually introduce, the love and sex and all of that into their practice, what would you tell them?
Ooh, I don't know. Okay. Well, for me, it's just self-love first. Work on the self-love first. Make spells and witchy bottles and do rituals for yourself so that you understand what you want and how you feel, and your desires and all that kind of stuff first before you delve into adding a partner and really, really seriously think about doing love spells on someone else. If that's where your mind's going. Again, everyone has their own, to each their own. But definitely, I would say, just, especially if you've never done it and you just think that, I need to do this, think about it some more.
Most, and it's not a coincidence, most people that have come to me to help them in their love life, those relationships are already broken. They started on the wrong foot. They were not going to go anywhere, and they're just lagging it. It's like keeping a person in life support that is brain dead. And everybody's going to choose something different. Some people don't care if they have for a partner is a zombie that is manipulated into staying or tricked into staying.
Of being alone. I feel like anybody is better than nobody.
That is a scary thought.
Yeah.
It is a scary thought. And I used to think like that when I was at the beginning of my other relationship. That's exactly what I used to think. This is it for me. My first boyfriend, my first relationship, the only people that I had sex with. And that was for me. I was not going to find anybody else. So, honestly,
a lot of people feel that way, women and men. I don't know. There's just that pressure, maybe. Always that pressure that you should be, pairing up, I guess. Society, has that pressure on people. And so they feel like you need to find somebody. You spend your whole life, and that's your life's goal, is to find somebody.
Oh, hell no.
I know.
Unconditional love.
That's love. Yes, that's love right there.
I'm going to say it here in public. Nobody deserves the love of dogs. They're too pure.
It's true. Dogs do anything for you.
But honestly, it is true. It is true. I completely respect if you need a boyfriend and you want to put your St. Anthony statue upside down, light that candle shaped in the, like a couple. Go ahead. But if you don't know you, if you're not willing to change you, you're going to keep attracting what you have been attracting. If you're not willing to be honest with yourself that this person does not feel happy with you, and that is the most difficult question to ask yourself. Is this person happy with me? And we have to learn how to deal with that. And we have to let it, if we really care about that person, we would let it go. Whether or not, because right now, and I come from a generation that people would get married because one of them would get pregnant and that was the end of it.
Right.
Okay, that was the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And people would be trapped in loveless marriages with no respect, no self-respect for decades. That is sad, and it's completely unnecessary just because we don't want to admit that it wasn't the time, it wasn't the person. And it's painful because you have to ask yourself, why am I allowing this to happen? Why do I want to keep forcing this person? And for those of you that say, oh, but I know love potions that can make a man melt in their pants.
Sure.
That may be true, but you are going to know that it's not real.
Right.
How can you live with that?
Yeah, and I see that all the time, all over social media. So many people talking about love spells and love magic and, that kind of stuff. And I think it's great. It's fine. But I think it needs to be on you. To me, that's my point of view. If you want to do a love spell, do it for you. Do it on you. Help yourself to find the truth of how you feel, not trying to influence somebody else to do what you think you want.
And forgive yourself, forgive that other person for not having the tools to actually make that relationship work. It just was not. And I have to say something. That bull that you have to suffer and chase after your soulmate and the twin flame bull crap. No. You can have a twin flame with a person from the same sex, from the opposite sex, be related to you, be your next door neighbor, a pen pal from the Ukraine. That doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice your life and that person's life because you don't want to be alone. And to use that, the excuse, oh, it's my soulmate, it's my catalyst, because I have heard that before. It's my catalyst. Get your own life straight and then drag somebody else into it, because then the chasing is never going to end. And one day you're going to wake up, you're going to be 53 and wondering what the hell happened to my life. It's not worth it.
Life's too short.
Life is just too short. And if you need to learn something, learn it. Don't drag anybody into it.
Be honest with yourself. You have to be honest. You have to say it how it is. Or otherwise, you're just going to keep attracting what you don't want because you're lying about what you need.
And if you need to be the bad guy to say, honey, this is not working out. I don't want to hurt you anymore. I cannot allow you to hurt me anymore, and let it go. If it didn't work in 10 years, it's not going to work now. Things sour for a reason if they don't get fixed. And both of you have to agree to that. It's not a one-sided. Have you ever tried to row with one oar? For those of you that have, it's really stupid. And this is how we look like, going in circles with just one oar. We need both to actually make it work.
Right.
So, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Yes. And we'll see you tomorrow at the unveiling of the winner. And on the 15th, we'll have this the premiere of Calvin Witcher's interview. You're gonna love that.
Yes.
For those of you witches that are interested in creating your own, not only your own wealth, but your own value, and the way that you present yourself into the craft and how to make it work for you, you cannot miss that interview with Calvin Witcher. So,
good night.
Night.